The only constant thing in life is change. But in order to change, we need to let go. But the thing is, letting go is so hard. It's also very scary. It's funny to think that when I came to Paris, I thought it was gonna be very hard to adapt. But now that I'm leaving in less than a week, I'm honestly feeling very confused. Living in Paris has become my new normal, and I find myself overthinking how I will adapt to Berlin next year. Personally, setting a routine for me is very hard. I tend to get very overwhelmed. Something I used to do was plan every day by the hour, making sure everything was filled in with an activity. Thing is, what this caused was me feeling anxious about everything I couldn't achieve that day, that I planned to achieve that day, which in the end made me feel like I couldn't do anything.
Today for lunch we're having leftover pizza. I know it's not the usual sandwich, but we have to finish pizza that we didn't finish yesterday. So I've basically been working on my group project, which we have to send today. But oh my god, for leaving Paris in a week, like not less than a week, I'm not gonna be here. So the plan this week is finishing everything I have inside the fridge, especially products that I cannot bring with me. So that's the focus. Let's see how much we can finish. Oh my god, this is so weird, leaving Paris in a week. Ooh. I also need to pack everything, so that's gonna be kind of exciting. This is the first time I do it on my own. Wish me luck. Guess it's another adulting experience for me.
I know many people when they pack, they're very precise on how they do it. Me, on the other hand, I'm quite random. And for you guys that know me, I pack like 1 hour before I need to leave for my flight. This time where I had to pack my whole apartment all by myself for the first time, I was feeling very overwhelmed about everything I had to do. I felt like time was running out of my hands. On top of that, I also had to kind of be strategic about the food that I had to eat because I wanted to throw the least amount of food I could. Combining those two things, plus the fact that I had to finish my group project before the end of the day, I was just feeling like I had too much on my plate right now. And when that happens, I get paralyzed. I literally freeze and I feel like I'm unable to do anything, which in the end just causes me more anxiety because instead of actually doing at least the smallest task possible, I end up doing nothing. I find myself trying to avoid all the tasks that I feel that are too big to handle right now. And I blame myself for doing that. Thing is, I'm scared what's gonna happen when things change. Habits are hard to create, but once they settle in, they are hard to let go. They become something that we just do without thinking. When we don't have the brain space to choose, we automatically just go to the default action, even if it doesn't feel like it was the right choice to make. On the other hand, when we do have the brain space to choose what we want, we tend to overthink the choices that we have. And then what ends up happening is that we begin living a life based on what others are expecting of us rather than the life we truly want. If we don't know what to choose, we look around us to see what the optimal choice is. It's a basic human instinct. We want to fit in, especially when we're under stress. But the thing is, we end up then putting too much on our plate. Many of us are guilty of saying yes when we want to say no, and saying no when we really want to say yes. And I know for certain I struggle a lot with this because I'm a big people pleaser. I fear that if I say no to something, I'm missing out on an opportunity. I fear that if I say no, I'm somehow being selfish. And I fear that when I say no, then they will never ask me again. We put too much pressure on what other things we should do. But actually, what I've discovered is that people are not actually always looking on what we're doing. They're doing their own thing as well. They're stuck in their heads as much as we are. But despite this, we somehow all think that our brain space is occupied by criticizing or judging others' choices. We all fear being left out, but what we don't realize is that by saying no when we want to say yes, or vice versa, we're filling our days with unmeaningful tasks, and then we get stuck, and all because we fear missing out. Pretty sure I'm not the only one that has FOMO. The fear of missing out is so normalized nowadays. It's hard to think that if you choose one thing, you're saying essentially no to another. And then that means missing out on an experience that you might have had. It's so funny to think that we always want what we cannot have. And when we say no to experiencing something over another, then suddenly what we want is exactly the thing we said no to. How many wouldn't wish to be able to go back in time to tell our past self to make the other choice? What we now see as the better choice. But actually, how do we know that was the better choice over the one we made? We have to live with the fact that we will never know, and that's okay. Because life is about choices, and in the moment, you can only make the best choice with the information you have, and all choices have consequences. But they also have benefits. You might not see them now, but they will come. There's this idea that there's always the perfect choice, but in reality, there is no such thing as a perfect choice. We have to stop trying to optimize our life all the time. What other people choose or don't choose is up to them. If we let our surroundings influence too much on what we choose to do, only then can we classify the choice we made as the wrong choice. Whatever you choose is going to shape your journey. So if you choose according to what others are telling you or what others are choosing over what your gut is telling you, you're building a life where you cannot be your authentic self. You are building a life where you're going to lose yourself because those choices are not made by you. They are made by the fear side of you that doesn't want to show themselves to the rest of us. You are building something instead of someone. How can you begin knowing yourself, knowing your passions, and exploring your strengths and weaknesses if you fear choosing what is true to you? You fear letting go on what seems right instead of what feels right.
Good morning. It's presentation day, but now let's go and have a nice breakfast after a nice little morning walk. Fresh air and sunshine does wonders. I love you.
It's so funny to think that making choices was easier when we were children, and that's because we were more attuned with our body, with our mind, with our whole self. We all wish we could go back to our younger self, to have again that careless, unaware childhood mind, one that didn't know that other people could judge them, the one that made choices that felt right to them at the moment, to have that mind that actually you could talk to and you could hear, instead of having one that is always doubting the next step you have to take, putting pressure to try to make the perfect choice. The mind is constantly thinking of all that could go wrong instead of focusing on all that could also go right. As we age, we lose that sense of attunement with our whole self, who we make ourselves be is most often based on what we think others want us to be. We fear letting go of that notion because we don't want to know who we are. We fear that our authentic selves are not good enough.
It's time to pack. Basically, we need to get this done in like 2 days because on Saturday the moving company is gonna come. Well, I mean, I've done a little box already with books and stuff, but that's basically it. So hopefully I can do this on my own. But anyways, before we begin packing, my presentation went very well. I'm very happy. Now it's technically officially over, and that means that summer holidays are officially beginning tomorrow. While I pack, I'm gonna put some good YouTube videos on, or maybe a Netflix something movie thingy. I can't wait for Berlin. Let me show you what we've already kind of done. So that's a small box. It's filled up, so I can't put anything else there. But yeah, so we have to pack this and some of the clothes I'm bringing back with me, and also here. This is almost done. Then I have to pack all of that. Not the microwave, that's not coming with me. Let's begin.
We prefer to doubt ourselves more than believe in ourselves because if we believe in ourselves, somehow that means that we're being overly optimistic. But in order to see reality, you don't have to be pessimistic. You can choose to see the glass as half full instead of half empty and still be able to say that you see the glass. Being optimistic doesn't mean that you're out of touch with reality, that you somehow expect everything to go well. Being optimistic just means that you choose to focus on what you have right now instead of fearing what you don't or cannot have.
But basically, guys, we're almost done with packing. We need to do one more box where we put the remaining things in the kitchen and then also bathroom stuff. I think we can do it tomorrow. I mean, we filled one box and the other things in the kitchen I've already prepped, so they just need to go inside the box. So I think I got this. Time to call it a night. Tomorrow I guess it's just packing and packing. Well, good night, guys. See you tomorrow.
Now that I had officially had my last exam, meaning that now I had all the time to pack, I suddenly felt very scared. I didn't know if it was even possible for me to pack on my own. I know other people do it, but since it was my first time, I was very scared of doing it the wrong way, not doing it the way that others did it. And that often is what happens when we have new challenges to face. We rely too much on what we see others have experienced and try to force the same experience to happen to us. That if somehow we don't do it the same way, suddenly everything we do is wrong.
Guess who finished packing 2 boxes already? Okay, I have a few things left to pack, you know. Yes, we can do this, we can do this. Now the plan is just, I'm gonna prepare breakfast for tomorrow and Sunday and probably Monday. So it's everything is already ready. And then we're gonna have lunch. I've done a good job, I think.
If there actually was a perfect way to do everything, then we would actually know about it by now. And since we don't, that means that there's not only one way to do it, but a million one. We are all so different, and it is our different way of doing things that propel us forward and that make our journey so different. We should feel happiness knowing that the life we create cannot be experienced by anyone else, instead of being scared of that fact, because that means that you have something you can call your own, and that no one else can claim. The life that you make is uniquely yours. And that's something we all should be more grateful for.
Little snack break. Poof, guys. I think we're done. Like, literally. Everything that needs to go to Berlin, it's packed almost. I mean, I just have to put my pillow there. First time doing this on my own. Adulting complete. I can't believe it. Like, I've done it, guys. Tomorrow is gonna be an eventful day. Time flies by. Okay, let's stop procrastinating and actually get stuff done.
Fear often makes us forget about the things that we actually have right now. Fear takes us to live in the past instead of in the present. That's why we all have to start trading fear for joy, to focus more on what we have and what we can do right now with the tools we do have in order to make things that make us happy. Because it is when we are happy, when we let go of what is expected of us, that we can truly start connecting with the real people. JOMO, or the joy of missing out, is about being present in the moment and being grateful for what's currently happening. Many think that JOMO is about feeling joy all the time, but that's not true. What JOMO does, it allows us to connect with ourselves, to ask what we need right now. It helps us realize that the best choice is the choice that doesn't feel like it's being pushed on us. It allows us to let go of the past and forget a bit about the future, instead choosing based on present. It helps you realize that saying no is never about you being selfish. That saying no, it's okay. You don't have to go to that party. You are allowed to be by yourself if you want. But you can also choose to go to the party if that's what you feel like. Days are never the same. What we choose to do one day doesn't have to be the same choice we have to make the following one. It allows you to explore more of your options. I didn't know what restaurant to choose to have lunch with my sister. I was maybe more comfortable in letting her choose, maybe something that we had tried before. But I was leaving Paris soon and I wanted to try something new. So I chose a random one. And the thing is, I was very nervous that we perhaps wouldn't get there on time, or that my sister wouldn't like it, and that meant I had made the wrong choice. But the thing is that no matter which restaurant we chose, and no matter if we actually went to one, we still would have been together. We still could have made another wonderful memory. I almost let my fear of missing out on everything in Paris before I had to leave still another moment of joy. I was putting too much stress on trying to make the last 2 days in Paris the perfect days in Paris. The thing is, they were already perfect because I wasn't alone. I think the main reason that makes letting go of the past hard is because we want our present to be perfect. That somehow, if it's not, then it's not worth being in it. Perfection is the enemy of the good. And if you actually look at your past, the best moments that you had together with others or on your own were never perfect to begin with. But we forget this. We forget that the moments that we didn't plan for, the things that went south, or the things that were unplanned for, those are the moments where we feel most like us, that we feel more connected to those around us. It is only when we let go of control, when we let life just guide us through, that things fall into place. More often than not, it is when we try to make the day a perfect one that it goes exactly how we didn't expect it to go. If we keep trying to micromanage everything, we don't leave room to explore. That means that we're not tapping on our full potential because we get stuck, thinking that we cannot go beyond the walls we built around us, that we should just stay on our comfort zone. But if we did that every day, it would get kind of boring actually. If we never decide to explore what lies beyond, we will never truly know what we like. what we're passionate about and what we want to become. In order for us to grow, we need to change. And in order for us to change, we need to let go. We have to learn to let go of our past self and stop wondering what our future is going to look like, and instead focus on our present self.
Susana, no me grabes. Espera, ay, me estoy orinando.
Our past can teach us a lot, but it can also trap us if we don't let it go. Past makes us who we are right now, but it does not dictate who we are gonna become. We have the power to choose who we want to be, and who that is changes day by day, and that's okay. We don't have to have it all figured out. What can happen? It's scary because we don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen when I get to Berlin. I don't know how my summer is gonna go. My plan at the moment is quite loose. I really want to cook and bake a lot this summer because I really want to improve, and I want to share my passion for cooking and baking with you guys. But I also want to allow room for me to see what this summer brings, because this summer I'm choosing to live in the moment, to let go of my past self that had to plan everything. I am gonna try to live a life based on what I want out of it, not on what others are expecting me to do this summer. I want to spend it with my family. I want to spend it with my friends. And I want to spend it in the kitchen. And I want to spend it creating and filming. I want to feel like I'm not missing out on anything, because I'm choosing me this summer. I'm choosing to let go and to take each day as it comes. I don't want me to make the summer, but the summer to make me. So this is your reminder that change is not bad, that saying bye to the old habits and the old you is the way forward, because it can only bring you one step closer to the person that you're meant to become, the person that's ready to take over the world.